The competition part of wrestling is not from the sunnah. Now please, before I even carry on with this video, two things. In order to understand what I'm saying, especially as a Muslim, you need to be willing to listen. Secondly, do not confuse the modern day fighter who is a Muslim as a Muslim fighter. A fighter who is a Muslim and a Muslim fighter are two completely different people. A fighter who is a Muslim is fighting for entertainment purposes on a Saturday night, for their legacy and for your entertainment. A Muslim fighter is one who fights for the sake of the religion to achieve victory for the religion against the aggressors. Going back to wrestling, the competition part of wrestling is not from the sunnah. But we need to go back to the story of Rukan bin Yazid. This was a story where the Prophet, peace be upon him, wanted to speak to Rukan. Rukan said, sure, but we need to wrestle first. The Prophet replied, sure, let's do that. The wrestling match happened and the Prophet beat Rukan thrice. The message from all of this, and this is just me summarizing the whole story from long story short, the message was that the strong person is not the one who can defeat one in wrestling, but the one who can control himself whilst in the state of anger. Rukan was someone who was in the state of anger. He was the strongest wrestler and a champion from Quraysh, as well as the whole world pretty much. Now referring to what I just said, that hadith that was said, this clearly shows that the competition is not what was the message of the Prophet. The message was to be strong through controlling your inner self, also known as jihad and nafs. Competition between one another, especially within the sport of wrestling, will also cause a lot of conflict within the brotherhood, a lot of disagreements within the brotherhood, a lot of anger within the brotherhood, a lot of people being upset within the brotherhood. And this message was not sent to just us, but was also sent to the Sahaba at the time that were witnessing. Now, if this is not enough evidence for you, let's go deeper into competition. Competition is not actually something that is not allowed in Islam because of what the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, but also from Allah himself. They are eager to do righteous works. They compete in doing them. This was mentioned in the Quran. You will vie with one another, then you will shun one another, and then you will hate one another. One who fights for displaying his valor, a man who fights out of his family pride, or a man who fights for the sake of showing off. Who amongst these fights in the way of Allah? Who fights that the word of Allah be exalted fights in the way of Allah? And then finally showing the hadith that came out through the context of when the Prophet, peace be upon him, had his wrestling match with Rukan. The strong man is not the one who can overpower others. Rather, the strong man is the one who controls himself when he is angry. And if you want to do it without the intention of doing it for the religion, that's another case. That is purely up to you. But don't get religion and modern day wrestling mixed up. Let's go, people.